All right, friends, welcome to another wonderful lesson on technical analysis in our beginner series. This is going to be very basic, but still yet very powerful to the person that can incorporate trend lines correctly and do it with repetitive nature so that they can use this in conjunction with the other elements that you're going to learn throughout the coursework. First off, let's identify what trend lines actually are, and then we'll go and I'll show you how to best use them. We'll use the Russell 2000 futures chart for this particular application today. So trend lines are a relatively simple tool that can be used to gauge the overall direction of a given asset. But more importantly, they can also be used by traders to help predict areas of support and resistance, and that is very key. A technical trader will pay particularly close attention to an asset when the price approaches a trend line because those areas often play a major role in determining the short-term directionality of the asset's future price. As the price nears any major support or resistance level, there are two different scenarios that can occur. One, the price will bounce off of the trend line and continue in the direction of the prior trend, or two, it will move through the trend line, which can then be used as a sign that the current trend is reversing or weakening. Now, here's a very big best practice, and I'm a big believer of this because trend lines can be quite subjective, but the more touch points that you can incorporate on your own trend lines, the better and more reliable the line will be. Remember, trend lines can be subjective, and the less touch points you have, the less reliability you're also going to have. So try to use that as a best practice as you use this in your own work. So we're going to move on up to the price chart, and this is about 12 years worth of history, actually, if I went all the way back to about 2013, but we're going to start right around 2016 on this Russell 2000 futures chart. Now, I do want to pay particular attention to the time frame. In most of your trading software, you can choose between minute charts, hourly charts, daily charts, weekly, and even monthly charts. For the best practice that I would incorporate, I would use the weekly chart primarily to identify where a trend is at. So the very first thing you need to find out is where your local lows and local highs are at. And this will help you when you're looking back at your chart work to determine if there's any significant areas of support and resistance. But as you're just starting out, especially if you're trying to determine where a trend might be, one thing that might actually happen is you start to develop two trend lines. For example, on this price point back here in February of 2016, where we did have a local low or swing low, a person could start to chart their journey, but if they were using this line and they were being more subjective, they would have lost the trend right here, meaning they would have saw a pivot point here, they would have saw a pivot point here, and they saw a break. Now, note that price did correct on that particular trend line, but if you were being a little bit more liberal with the drawing, you could actually draw it out a little further, but you could have incorporated a secondary line at this particular swing low, meaning now I'm incorporating a lot more touch points with two lines. And that is another best practice. Never feel afraid to draw multiple lines on a chart, especially if there's areas of confluence, because with this blue line that I've overlaid, this would have actually allowed you to stay in the trend a little bit longer, okay? So you have a touch point here, a touch point back in November of 2016, and multiple touch points that add confluence to the primary white line, which is your primary trend. And then after both lines broke, here's what I want to point out into your attention. I'll just mark this with an X. Once those trend lines broke, we had a meaningful downturn. All right, so with two trend lines being overlaid on the price chart, you notice that price actually dropped. I think this was actually about a 25% price drop, and I'm correct, it's about a 25% price drop that you could have avoided. Notice also on the top that I'm also overlaying a trend line. So just because I place one on the bottom, never feel that you can't draw one on the top, because the more touch points you have along the top, the more confluence you can add that this is a significant area of resistance. As a matter of fact, we touched it once back here in 2016, December specifically of 2016, another touch point in June of 2018, and then multiple touch points as we started to near the apex of where these trend lines were converging. And that's when we lost trend. So I'll get rid of the X and we'll migrate to the right on our chart. And I want to show you what proceeded to happen after this crash low in 2018. A new trend emerged, so much so that we have multiple touch points on the weekly price chart. Note our swing low, and then of course we had another pivot low right here in August of 19, And then one last touch before price accelerated into its final top. That happened to coincide right here in about October of 2019. There's also something else that I've overlaid that hopefully I'm drawing your eye to, is where this particular candle happened to coincide right before we lost that particular former trend. That actually coincided with a horizontal line resistance where you're overlaying a line, not in a diagonal fashion. No, it's a horizontal line. And one could actually drop another line even further down below to identify that this had touched multiple times in this particular triangle that was developing. But the bottom line is horizontal resistance needs to be respected as well. And then of course, what you're going to see after our trend finally broke down from its triangle pattern, we had a meaningful correction. And most people here will recognize this correction because that was a substantial time in our history. That was the COVID low, and that marked a 40% downturn in the market for the Russell. That was a substantial decline. And again, just by paying attention to a simple trend line, you could have avoided a lot of the pain. Now, we did reemerge and we did start to form a new trend. And I just want to point this out. This was the bottom of the COVID low. And then we had multiple touch points right here. I didn't probably snug that line up as close as I possibly could have. And another trend line touch right back here in November 2020. And that rode the trend for a pretty long time. As a matter of fact, had you just been riding the trend, using some other indicators along with your trend line, that was a substantial rise of almost 150%. Once we got to the top of the range, though, at least in this particular instance, we migrated into a sideways price consolidation that became a parallel price channel that is overlaid with an overhead resistance rail and an under this particular green line here, this horizontal rail here, created the parallel channel of support. Once that was lost, again, pointing this to your attention, trend lines don't have to necessarily be diagonal. You can use horizontal. I would highly encourage you to do that. You had a loss of trend and you also had a break, and that was a pretty decent little move lower. We actually moved into a lower range after losing 20% on the price chart. But notice we consolidated yet again, ping-ponging back and forth between an upper level of resistance and a lower level of support before we finally meaningfully broke out back here in December of 2023, where yet another trend line you could have overlaid emerged. Now, this is a best practice, and I want you to incorporate this as best you can. Once you start to identify that there's a trend in place and you have multiple touch points, one thing that a lot of people will ask me, JT, what happens if we lose support with a wick? Does that matter? I will definitely always advise drawing two trend lines to at least connect the dots, so to speak. But as long as the candle body is being respected above this particular trend line, I'll make it a little bit bolder so you can see that, it's okay to allow the trend to develop. But once you finalize that you've broken trend, and you notice that with a full candle body, which happened to be right there, I would personally leave the trade. I would get to cash or even perhaps look to take a short position. But one thing that's really interesting here, this is one of those unique periods where we actually broke trend, but then we reemerged, had a little bit of a bullish uptick. Notice that we back tested the trend and rejected. Whenever you see a trend that is lost and then a rally to come back to the underside of the trend and back test it and reject, that is actually doubly bearish. So the person that was watching this break could have gotten out of harm's way. And if someone was actually being a little bit more observant and wanted to take a short position, once that trend basically was back tested and lost, you could have actually taken a short position there where you'd have profited pretty handsomely, about 28% to be precise, from the back test to the trough low that happened recently here in April of 2025. And of course, what's happened here recently? Another trend has started to emerge. So again, there's subjective lines. There's certainly things that I would use in conjunction with other indicators. But when you just take a look at a weekly price chart like the Russell 2000, you can gauge a lot by just overlaying simple lines, whether they be parallel channels with upper levels of resistance and lower levels of support, or if they're your traditional 45-degree angled lines that provide the user with some semblance of an idea of where trend is. And don't forget, just because I showed a lot of uptrends here, there are periods of time where you can go back and look at history where downtrends emerge. For example, back in 2015, we had a significant downturn. Unlike the last time where we had a back test where it rejected. This was actually a back test where it was actually becoming support, meaning we had a touch point here back in 2015, June of 2015 specifically, another touch point in November 2015, another touch point in April. We broke out, back tested, and that's when this new bullish trend emerged. Had you taken that particular, where this arrow's at, let me make sure you see that, the bold arrow, and taken that trend from there to the top, that was a 60% return, near about a 60% return. And then, of course, we had two trend lines emerge from that back test once it had occurred. So again, a lot of lines, I know, but once you start to become used to seeing the trend start to develop, just do me a favor, try to overlay some lines. And don't be surprised if you get these little head fakes here. You're going to learn how to get those head fakes out of there using specific indicators and a lot of other technical tools. But for the person that's just starting out, it doesn't hurt to draw a line on your chart, all right? And at least at the very minimum, try to get 3 touch points. The more you can add, the more reliability you'll have with the trend line. This concludes our lesson, our very basic lesson on trend lines. I hope it resonates with you, and I hope that you can use them in the future to profit more and lose less. Thanks again for paying attention, guys. Onward to the next lesson.